One of the best decisions I ever made was leaving the cult / organization / religion that is the Jehovah Witnesses. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite goddess king. It's your favorite pirate captain. It's your favorite auntie uncle. It's your favorite hood healer, high priestess, motivational dominatrix, LadySpeech in the place to be. And I want to welcome you back to my channel. You could be anywhere in the world. As a matter of fact, you are somewhere in the world. You're somewhere out there doing something, and you're also sharing a little bit of time and space with me. So thank you for that. Now, if you like what I'm doing, and if you like what you see, if you're feeling any of this, if you're feeling any of me, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notifications bell so you can keep up with everything I'm putting down over here on this channel. Do you hear me? Now, let's get into today's video, shall we? All right, y'all. If you couldn't tell by the title, and if you couldn't tell by the intro, I'm gonna tell you right now that we're gonna get into some heavy subjects today. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit you with the trigger warning. If you are not prepared to hear some of my story when it comes to the abuse that I suffered as a child, and if you're not ready to hear about how a major organization has yet again been found out for covering up scandals and abuse as it relates to children, this video is not for you. So go ahead and click on another video of mine. I have plenty of content. Enjoy yourself with my other videos. But for the rest of us, let's go ahead and take a deep dive. As most of you know, I am a recovering ex-Jehovah Witness. And I say recovering because I will always be healing from the scars that the abuse, the scars, the things that happened when I was being raised as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I have an entire playlist dedicated to being a recovering ex-Jehovah Witness, where I process a lot of different things, from holidays to special events, all kind of stuff like that. So feel free to check it out. And this video is going to be under that playlist as well, so you can come back to this video if this proves to be a little bit too much for you. It's been a minute since I've been here talking to you about what it's like being a recovering ex-Jehovah Witness. And today's video is about an article that was sent to me by a really good friend of mine who also is a recovering ex-Jehovah Witness. She's a bit older than me, so she has been out of that organization for at least 25, no, she's been out for 30 years. She's been out for 30 years. I have been out for 20 years. And I don't regret it. It is one of the best decisions I ever made. My adult self consistently goes back and gives thanks for my 16-year-old self, give thanks for my 18-year-old self for understanding that that was not the space for me to be in, and making the moves to remove myself from that space. I am so appreciative that I am where I'm at in my life with my current path, purpose, and where I'm walking in my spirituality. Had I remained in that organization, number one, you would not see me in this formation. I wouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing, and I strongly feel like I wouldn't be alive. I'm gonna be 1000% honest with you. I don't think I would be here. Had I not left that organization at 18 years old when I left my family, I would not be here. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful I left. A big reason why I left was because I didn't feel safe, I didn't feel supported, I didn't feel seen, and I didn't feel heard. I left because I had gone to the elders, and the elders, for those of you who don't know, is they're like the pastors, the priests in church. They are the men who run the organization. So a little brief history or in some information. In the Jehovah Witness organization, they have the governing body, and all of the governing body is made up of cisgendered men. Okay, they have the governing body. Okay, and there's all kinds of positions in the governing body, and then you have your congregation. So within the congregations, you have ministerial servants who are a step up under elders, and then you have the elders. The elders are the ones who run the congregation. They give the talks. They attend to the organization of the organization. They're the heads, they're the heads of it, basically. So when you have a problem or when you have an issue, you are tasked with going to the elders, and they are going to offer spiritual guidance and counsel to help you move through whatever issue that you have. I remember being 15 years old. I remember making the decision to go to the elders to speak about the abuse that I was experiencing in my household. I was ready to speak about the physical abuse that I was suffering at the hands of my father. I knew, and I had enough self-awareness to know that I wasn't perfect at that age, that I was a teenager, that I was fucking up in some capacities, but I also knew enough to know that the abuse that I had been suffering for years was abnormal. It was not normal. It was overboard, and it wasn't okay. I took a chance. I took a chance by going and trusting my elders with my story. I took a chance. And I went to the elders, and I made an appointment for our family, and I spoke about the abuse that I was going through. I spoke clearly, and if you see me looking around, there's bugs. I'm outside. Of course I'm outside. You can hear the nature. But I remember this was a big deal. Taking this chance was a really big deal, because if this failed, I knew that the abuse in my house that I was going to experience was going to get worse. I was very clear that if I went to them and they offered me no real support, that my life was essentially in even more danger than it was before I reported. I prayed on it, and I thought I heard the Creator telling me to go ahead and do this. I remember making the appointment and my family being called into the appointment, and I remember bearing my heart to the elders. I remember speaking about everything that I'd gone through. I remember being accountable to the fact that I knew that there were places where I needed to improve. And I remember being articulate about the fact that I wasn't trying to escape discipline, but I knew that what I was receiving wasn't good. It wasn't good. I was being beaten within an inch of my life, damn near. It just wasn't good. I just knew it wasn't good. I remember bearing my heart and soul in that meeting and being honest and open and willing to work and willing to be accountable. And I remember that they sat there and they listened to me. And when I was done, they opened the Bible and basically used Bible verses to justify why my father had every right to treat me as if I was chattel. I remember how demoralizing it was watching them justify my father stripping me naked and tying me to chairs and hog-tying me and beating me senseless. I remember describing some of the torture he did and them not batting an eye. There was no sympathy, there was no compassion, there was no comfort. There was nothing except for coldness and the Bible. I left that meeting demoralized as hell. I left that meeting demoralized. I left that meeting broken, and I left that meeting terrified. I understood that I was going to pay for that. I knew that my father was going to make me pay for that. I knew that the abuse, the torture, everything coming from me was going to be much worse. And it was. That was the moment I knew that religion wasn't for me. That was the moment. I went home that night and was clear. I went home that night and was very clear. Something in my heart broke. something in my heart broke. And I was like, I cannot. If you could literally sit here and listen to that story and offer me nothing, if you could literally sit here and hear me say to you, I don't want to leave, I just want this to be better. If you could listen to the stories I told and justify them, I knew that I just wasn't safe. I knew I wasn't safe. It was in that moment that I started energetically and spiritually separating myself. I started to check out. I started to check out of all of it. Around about that same time, I was speaking to other kids who were part of the Jehovah Witness fold, and I was beginning to understand that I wasn't the only one who was experiencing extreme abuse. I started hearing stories from the children of elders, the children of ministerial servants, the children of just regular people who are participating in following the Jehovah Witness space. I started hearing stories of these people being abused. I started hearing stories of children being abused and not being listened to. And that further just killed it for me. That further just, I couldn't find any hope whatsoever in the religion. I couldn't find any hope whatsoever in the religion. I started to check out. There is nothing like seeing your story reflected in the faces of other people, and also seeing other people as well as yourself being shut down, being denied, being gaslit, to take the wind out of your sails. It was astounding how many of us in just my little world were silenced. It was devastating to know that, at least in my little pocket of Jehovah Witness world, there were so many kids who were hurting. There were so many women who were hurting, and no one was listening to us. No one was hearing us. No one was there for us. No one was supporting us. Your faith is a place you go for comfort. It's a place you go for love. It's a place you go for nurturing, for enlightenment, for ascension. It's a place you go for goodness. It's not a place you go to be gaslit. It's not a place you go to be demonized. It's not a place you go to be denied your humanity. And this is exactly what happened to me. And this is a major reason why I left. A major reason why I left. And I'll tell you that it was the best decision I ever made. It was one of the best decisions I ever made. It was one of the best decisions I ever made. Fast forward to about a year and a half, maybe even almost 2 years ago, but probably about a year and a half ago. I was cruising through my Hulu looking for something to watch, and I came across this docu-series that was all about cults and cult-like religions. And I was like, this seems interesting. I like this stuff. That piques my alley. That piques my interest. It's right up my alley. So I click on the docu-series, and I cannot remember what the docu-series is. If I remember at the end of the making of this video, I will put it in the description. But I went through and was looking at the different episodes. It was the type of docuseries that, like, each episode was its own documentary, so you didn't have to watch it in order. So I was going through just seeing what religions that were there. Some of the religions that they were featuring I'm familiar with, because I low-key like to study that kind of stuff. So I was familiar with, and then towards the end, I saw Jehovah's Witnesses. And immediately I was like, what? What? The Jehovah Witnesses are being profiled on a show about cults? Yes. Yes. Hell yes to that. So I ended up clicking on that docuseries and watching it. Ended up watching the whole docuseries. It was a really good show. That is when I learned A lot of things. Number one, watching that docuseries was the first time I learned that the Jehovah Witness organization had been keeping documents of children speaking out about abuse, women speaking out about abuse since the 1980s. They had a whole database of victim stories and profiles of these men who were abusers. They had a whole database. In that docuseries, I had learned that the Jehovah Witnesses had been sued for millions of dollars at that point in the game. And I learned that they were really good at keeping things quiet. So good that I never even knew about any of this when I was in that organization. And at the time of me being in the organization, they were documenting. They were being sued. And they were settling out of court. And they were keeping this completely hushed. I learned at that point that the cover-up that the Jehovah Witnesses had done, were doing, was on par and about the same that the Catholic Church was doing in regards to the abuse that they have been known for at this point in the game. That docuseries was completely validating. It was absolutely eye-opening and devastating to know how many of us and how many folks there were. It was wild. It was wild. It was absolutely wild. That docuseries gave me a whole new perspective. It gave me a whole new, it unlocked another door to heal when it comes to recovering from being an ex-Jehovah Witness. I was absolutely astounded that there was databases. I was absolutely astounded that they had known, one of the things that I learned about the Jehovah Witnesses, and I actually knew this, but I didn't know I didn't know the extent. I knew that when you're a Jehovah Witness, you minister. One of the things that you were tasked with is sharing the gospel. A lot of people know Jehovah Witnesses because Jehovah Witnesses are the ones that knock on doors. Literally, they go door to door, knocking on your door, asking, do you want to live forever in paradise on earth? They knock on doors. It is, if you are a Jehovah Witness, it is your duty to spread the word of God to everybody you can, to try to convert as many people as you can. Now, when I was younger, I do remember, not so much with our congregations, but I do remember hearing about efforts of us going into jails, but I didn't hear a lot about that. One of the things that the Jehovah Witnesses are known for is their ministry work. So folks will get sent out. They will, train you. What is it called? It's called being a pioneer. Is it called being a pioneer? Yeah. And you will be sent out to a space to basically become a colonizer and spread the word of the gospel and start a Jehovah Witness church, all that kind of stuff anyway. So I knew that we were out, that sometimes there would be people who would go out to prisons and things of that nature to spread the word of God. But what I didn't realize was how targeted, especially in the 80s and the 90s, the 70s, the 80s and the 90s, I didn't realize how targeted the Jehovah Witnesses were. The Jehovah Witnesses were going after known predators and pedophiles. They were going after those people. They were going after people with records, and they were accepting them into the organization. There were a lot of these people who had records that had to do with sexually assaulting people who were targeted to come to the fold. And the Jehovah Witnesses considered those people success stories. Oh, we've converted them. They're men of God. But really all they did was sanction a bunch of predators to come into the organization and give them justification for continuing to do what it is that they do, but except for undercover. The level of mess that docuseries uncovered, the level of the rabbit hole that I ended up going down was astounding. It was astounding. The docuseries was validating. It was disgusting to me on a personal level, finding out just how deep this was. You knew. Y'all knew. Y'all known this whole time. You've known this whole time. You've known this whole time. You kept records of it. You've been sued out the ass for harboring predators, for keeping children close to predators. And y'all do nothing. Y'all do nothing except for pay people. It's absolutely, it was disgusting, and it was devastating. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, fast forward to a couple of days ago, and my friend forwards me an article about how in the UK and Australia, they've recently discovered a database. An Australian and UK version of the database that I found out about a year and a half ago. Another database. Stories upon stories upon stories upon stories, documentation on documentation on documentation on documentation of the abuse that children have suffered. Names, dates, stories on stories on stories. A database of abuse. An international cover-up. You know, it's interesting. A couple of weeks ago, I don't know if y'all were watching the news, but it came out that the Southern Baptist Church had kept records of abuse that had gone back decades. From the Catholic Church to the Southern Baptist Church to Jehovah Witnesses. When it comes to abuse in organized religion, absolutely positively no one's safe. When I read that article, my heart dropped. And I immediately thought about my grandmother. My maternal grandmother is a devout Jehovah Witness, and we don't have a relationship because of it. My maternal grandmother demonized my mother, did not give her the adequate help or support she needed because she strayed from the path, she strayed from the truth. And because I am a product of her, I was never given the support or the love or the validation or the family energy that I needed from them. My grandmother has given everything to that religion. And I watched that religion not give half as much to her. I thought of my grandmother. I thought about the fact that if I called her now and I told her all the things, if I showed her articles, if I gave her the evidence, I thought about how that would break her. I thought about how that would literally break her brain, and I got so angry. As someone who has, and whose part of my job is to help steward other people in their spiritual walk, as someone who has assisted other people in their search for God, as someone who takes my faith and what I practice very seriously, as someone who is pursuing another initiation so that I can learn more, so that I can rise up further in the ranks, so that I can help more people, it absolutely upsets me that people use spirituality in order to hurt people. My grandmother has given everything. She sacrificed everything for that religion, and that religion could give a damn about her. It could give a damn about her children. She's given so much to this space, and if I told her, it would break her brain. The one good thing that I feel in finding out that this is being found out is that there are people whose stories are going to be heard and believed finally. After decades, after years of being denied justice, after years of being denied, someone is going to read these people's names and they're going to believe them. That does make me happy. But the fact that like so many had to suffer, the fact that so many it's absolutely disgusting. I'm so thankful I left. 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 I'm so thankful 18-year-old LadySpeech trusted myself enough. I'm so thankful I trusted my instincts and my intuition. I'm so thankful I trusted my forged connection with God and Creator. I'm so thankful for my baby 18-year-old self. I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful for that decision to leave. I'm so thankful. I understood. Something in my soul understood that that was not my home. Something in me understood that I would not be able to thrive there. I understood it. I lost a lot making that decision to leave that organization. I left that organization. I left my family. I left my friends. I left all of that. I don't associate with, the only person I associate with now that knows me from that time is literally one cousin. My childhood friends. So many memories gone. So many people I've lost contact with and will never be in contact with again. So many. I sacrificed all of that because I understood that that was not the place for me to be. I understood that that was not a place to thrive, that that was not a place to excel, that that was not a place where I could grow and bloom and become, and I am fucking thankful. I knew enough then to walk away. I'm absolutely thankful that this is coming out. I'm absolutely thankful these things are being found out. I'm absolutely thankful that eyes are on this situation. I'm absolutely, as disgusting as it is to find this out, as disgusting as it is to find out that this has been an international cover-up, I'm thankful that we're finding it out now. I'm thankful that so many of us who have been victims will finally feel validation and vindication. I'm so thankful that there is some type of eyes on this situation. I'm so thankful that there is a call for justice. Because the way so many of us have been and were silenced, the way so many of us were abused for so long, the way so many of us have had to suffer by ourselves and alone is unacceptable. I'm grateful as hell for the community that I have formed, for the chosen family that I created. I'm grateful that I have encountered and have built community with people, with former ex-recovering Jehovah Witnesses we have vibrant, full, beautiful lives. I'm thankful for all the healing that I have done so far, and I'm thankful for all the healing that I will continue to do. One thing that I recognize that I have been able to have that a lot of other people don't, who are recovering and surviving from being a Jehovah Witness, a lot of us don't make a transition into the real world. A lot of us aren't able to make that smooth transition and to recover and reclaim our lives and to make something beautiful and vibrant of it. The way that religion just steals your spirit, the way it steals your soul. I've done that. I have built for myself a chosen family that is beautiful and supportive and amazing and divine. I have built for myself a vibrant life. And most importantly, I have a solid and firm relationship with God, with Creator, with my ancestors, with Spirit. And for that, I am grateful. I'm getting ready to take the next step in my faith. I'm getting ready to embark on my next initiation. I'm getting ready to make my way towards adding Mambo to my title. I am advancing in the ranks of Voodoo, and I am doing this because I am dedicated to Spirit. I am doing this because it is my calling. It is my purpose and my path, and I am doing this because I want to be a good person in faith. I want to be someone who helps people return to their spirituality with hands and arms filled with love. I want to make right some of the energy in this world that has been made wrong by so many false prophets, by so many false men and women who have used God and spirituality from many different perspectives to harm and hurt people. I want to be used by Spirit and to use Spirit to heal myself this earth and others. As hard as it was reading that article, it was exactly what I needed to read as I am taking this next step in my spiritual life. I needed to be reminded of where I've come from and all the things that I have healed. I needed to be reminded why I'm doing this, why I'm called to this. I needed to be reminded of my duty. I'm thankful I survived. And I'm thankful I live a life where I thrive. Walking away from that cult organization, walking away from that religion, walking away from Jehovah Witnesses was the best decision, one of the best decisions I ever made for my life. And I will never, ever go back. If you made it to the end of this video, gold star for you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for holding space as I processed with you and shared my story. I talk about these things because a lot of us have been through things like this. I talk about these things because I want you to know that the road towards a good life, the road in healing isn't easy. It's worth it though. I talk about these things in hopes of my story being able to help another person. So thank you for holding space. Ex-Jehovah Witnesses, sound off in the comments. Do you regret leaving? Was leaving the organization something that was good for you? How are you doing now? For the others who can relate, maybe you weren't an ex-Jehovah Witnesses, but you're a recovering ex-Catholic. Maybe you are a recovering Mormon. Maybe you are a recovering member of some random alternative cult. For those of you who have left, how are you feeling? Do you think you made a good decision? Do you ever consider going back? Sound off in the comments. Man, what a life this is, good Lord. What a life this is. But one thing for sure, two things for certain. Even with all of life's ups and downs, I am grateful to be alive. And on that note, I'm going to let you go. Make sure you do something positive for yourself after this video. This had a lot of heaviness to it. So go off and do something good for your inner child. Take a few deep breaths even. You know, just take a minute. You know, maybe pray, smoke medicine, whatever you need to do to clear the energy. I want to thank you again for your support and just listening to this video. And I hope that this helps someone. If nothing else, it helped me. It helped me. So I hope it is beneficial for the rest of you out there in some way, shape, form, or capacity. And on that note, I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening. I hope you have a good whenever you encounter this, okay? And just in case no one has told you today, you are a gift to this planet. From your ancestors, from your spirit, you are a gift. You are precious. You are valuable, and you are so divine. I hope you feel loved. Whoop, is that a bug on me? I'm going to keep that in too. I'm not going to erase it. I hope you feel loved. I hope you feel cherished. And please know that I love you. I cherish you. All right, now, you know the drill. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling any of this, if you're feeling any of me, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notifications bell so you can keep up with all of my shenanigans and happenings and goings-ons and things. And I'm going to see you all in the next video. God willing, of course. Mwah.